Captain Li Wu-jin sat in his chair on the bridge of the exploration ship Soul's Pride. He watched the stars through the big window in front of him. His crew had been traveling through space for 3 months now. They were looking for a new planet where humans could live. "Captain, we have a problem," said Navigator Park Da-yoon. She was looking at her computer screen with worried eyes. "The solar storm hit us harder than we thought. Our navigation system is all messed up." Wu-jin walked over to her station. He could see numbers jumping around on her screen. Nothing looked right. "Where are we?" he asked. "I don't know," Da-eun said. She pushed some buttons, but the screen kept showing crazy numbers. "We came out of hyperspace in the wrong place. We could be anywhere." Engineer Kim Tae-ho came running onto the bridge. His clothes were dirty from working in the engine room. "Captain, our engines are working fine now. The storm damage is fixed, but I have no idea where we are either." Communications Officer Choi Ha-na looked up from her station. "I'm not picking up any signals from Earth. No radio, no television, nothing. We're really far from home." Wu-jin nodded. This was not good, but he had dealt with problems before. "Okay, everyone stay calm. Let's figure out where we are. Da-yoon, can you scan for any planets or stars we might know?" "Already doing it, Captain," Da-yoon said. She was pushing buttons fast. "Wait, I'm getting something strange. There are huge metal objects out there, really huge. They look like buildings, but they're floating in space." Everyone on the bridge got quiet. Tae-ho walked over to look at Da-eun's screen. "Those aren't natural. Someone built those things." Hana started working at her station. "I'm trying to scan them better. These structures are massive. Some of them are bigger than cities on Earth." Wu-jin felt excited and scared at the same time. This could be humanity's first contact with aliens. "Can you tell if anyone is living?" "There, yes," Hana said. "I'm reading life signs, lots of them, and there are ships moving around, big ships." Suddenly, alarms started going off all over the bridge. Red lights flashed everywhere. Da-yoon looked at her screen and her face went white. "Captain, we have company. 30 ships are coming toward us. They're big and they're coming fast." Wu-jin looked out the window. He could see lights moving in the darkness. They were getting brighter, which meant they were getting closer. "How long until they reach us?" 5 minutes, Da-eun said. The bridge got very quiet. Everyone was thinking the same thing. These aliens might not be friendly. Hana worked at her station trying to listen to any signals from the alien ships. "I'm getting something," Hana said. "They're talking to each other. I can't understand their language, but they sound angry." 3 minutes later, the alien ships surrounded the Soul's Pride. Wu-jin could see them clearly now. They looked like huge metal fish with sharp edges and bright lights. Each ship was 10 times bigger than his ship. "Incoming message," Hana said. "They're trying to talk to us." "Put it on the main screen," Wu-jin said. The screen in front of them showed an alien face. It had green skin, yellow eyes, and sharp teeth. When it talked, its voice was deep and scary. The alien was wearing some kind of uniform with symbols on it. "Unknown vessel," the alien said in broken English. "You have entered forbidden space. This is the sacred territory of the Korvac Empire. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Wu-jin looked at his crew. Tae-ho was staring at the alien with his mouth open. Da-eun was shaking a little. Hana was recording everything, but nobody looked really scared. They all looked more surprised than anything else. "Sacred territory?" Wu-jin said to his crew. "We didn't know. This was an accident." He pressed the button to talk back to the alien. "Hello, we're humans from Earth. We're sorry if we entered your space by mistake. We had a navigation problem and got lost. We don't want any trouble." The alien on the screen looked confused. It talked to someone off-screen in its own language. Then it looked back at Wu-jin. "You dare to speak casually to War Commander Vextar of the Korvac Empire? Do you not understand that you face death?" Tae-ho started laughing. He couldn't help it. "Captain, this guy is really dramatic. Look at how serious he is about everything." Da-yoon smiled too. "He does seem very upset about us being here. We should probably just apologize and leave." Hana was still recording. "This is amazing. Our first contact with aliens and they're acting like we're criminals. Wait until people back on Earth see this." Wu-jin tried to stay serious, but his crew's reaction was making it hard. The alien did seem very dramatic. War Commander Vextar, we really are sorry. We didn't know this was your space. Can you help us figure out how to get home? The alien's eyes got very wide. It started talking fast in its own language to the other ships. Then it looked back at the screen. You are not afraid? Do you not understand that the Korvac Empire has destroyed entire civilizations? That this sacred space has never been violated by outsiders? Well, Wu Jin said, we understand you're upset. But we're not here to cause trouble. We're explorers. We were looking for new planets where humans could live. Taeho was looking at his computer screen. Captain, their ships are really old-fashioned. Look at their engine design. We could probably outrun them if we needed to. Taeho, Wu Jin said quietly, don't say things like that out loud. But it was too late. The alien had heard him. War Commander Vextar's face got very angry. Old-fashioned? These are the finest warships in the galaxy. You mock the power of the Korvac Empire? No, Wu Jin said quickly. He didn't mean to insult you. He's just an engineer. He gets excited about how different ships are built. Hana was trying not to laugh. Captain, I think we're making them more angry by accident. More alien ships were arriving. Wu Jin could see them on his screen. Big ones, really big ones. Some of them were the size of small moons. This is War Commander Vextar to all ships, the alien said. These creatures show no fear. They mock our sacred vessels. They must be advanced scouts for a powerful enemy. Prepare for battle stations. Wait, Wu Jin said. We're not scouts. We're just lost. There are only 4 of us on this ship. The alien looked shocked. 4? Only 4 beings dare to enter our sacred space? What kind of species sends only 4 scouts into the heart of an empire? Da-un whispered to Wu Jin. I think they think we're more dangerous than we really are. Unknown humans, the alien said. You will be taken prisoner. If you resist, you will be destroyed. If you cooperate, you will face judgment from our High Admiral. Wu Jin looked at his crew. They didn't look scared. They looked curious. What do you think, everyone? Well, Hana said, this is definitely the most interesting day of my life. Their ships are pretty cool, Taeho said. I'd love to see how they work. And maybe they can help us get home, Da-un added. Once we explain everything, Wu Jin pressed the communication button again. Okay, War Commander Vextar, we'll cooperate, but we'd like to talk to someone who can help us solve this misunderstanding. The alien looked confused again. Misunderstanding? You speak as if this is a small mistake, isn't it? Wu Jin asked. The alien's face showed many emotions, confusion, anger, and something that looked like fear. You truly do not understand what you have done, do you? Not really, Wu Jin said honestly. Could you explain it to us? The alien cut off the communication. On his screen, Wu Jin could see the alien ships moving into attack positions around his ship. But his crew wasn't panicking. They were talking excitedly about meeting aliens and seeing alien technology. This is either going to be really good or really bad, Wu Jin said to himself. But looking at his crew's excited faces, he couldn't help but smile. Even if they were in trouble, at least it was interesting trouble. High Admiral Zorketh received the emergency message while he was eating dinner on his flagship. The message said that unknown aliens had invaded the sacred territory around the Korvac homeworld. This had never happened before in the 1,000-year history of the Empire. Get my ship ready for battle, Zorketh told his crew. Call the entire Third Fleet. We leave immediately. Within 2 hours, 50 of the Empire's best warships were flying toward the location where the humans waited. Zorketh had fought many battles in his long career. He had destroyed rebel planets and conquered weaker species. But this felt different. No one had ever dared to enter the sacred space around the Korvac homeworld. When Zorketh's fleet arrived, War Commander Vextar was waiting for him. The smaller commander appeared on Zorketh's communication screen. His face looked worried and confused. High Admiral, Vextar said, these creatures are very strange. They show no fear at all. When I told them they would be destroyed, they laughed. When I threatened them with our warships, they said our ships looked interesting. Zorketh was not happy to hear this. Are they mocking us? I think so, sir. But they do it in such a casual way, as if our threats mean nothing to them. One of them said our ships were old-fashioned. Another one asked if we could help them get home. Help them get home? Zorketh could not believe what he was hearing. They invade our sacred space and then ask for directions? Yes, sir. And they keep saying it was an accident. They claim they got lost. Zorketh thought about this. Either these aliens were incredibly stupid, or they were so powerful that they really didn't fear the Korvac Empire. Since they had managed to reach the most protected space in the galaxy, they probably weren't stupid. Show me these creatures, Zorketh demanded. The communication screen changed to show the bridge of the human ship. Zorketh saw 4 aliens that looked somewhat like Korvacs, but smaller and with strange skin. They had no scales, no sharp teeth, and they looked very soft. One of them, the one wearing what looked like a leader's uniform, was talking to the others. I think more of them arrived, the human was saying. Look at all those ships. They must really take border security seriously. Another human, the female one at the navigation station, was looking at her computer screen. Captain, there are 50 ships out there now. That's a lot of ships just for 4 lost explorers. The human male at the engineering station was very excited. Captain, look at their ship designs. Each one is different. They must have been building and improving these ships for hundreds of years. The engineering is fascinating. The female, at the communication station, was recording everything. This is incredible. We're surrounded by an entire alien fleet, and I'm getting readings on at least 15 different ship types. The variety is amazing. Zorketh watched all this with growing confusion. These creatures were not acting like prisoners or enemies. They were acting like tourists who had stumbled into a museum. The engineering human was actually studying Korvac warships like they were interesting objects instead of deadly weapons. War Commander Vextar, Zorketh said, have they made any demands? Have they threatened us in any way? No, sir. They keep apologizing for being here by accident. They ask questions about our ships and our territory. They seem curious about everything. Zorketh had fought many enemies, but he had never seen anything like this. Most species were terrified when they faced Korvac warships. These humans seemed delighted by the experience. He opened a communication channel to the human. Ship! The human leader looked at him with interest, not fear. I am High Admiral Zorketh of the Korvac Empire, he said in his most threatening voice. You have committed the greatest crime possible. You have violated the sacred space of our ancestors. For this, your entire species will be hunted down and destroyed. The human leader looked surprised. Our entire species? But you've never met our species before. How can you judge all humans based on 4 people who got lost? This was not the response Zorketh expected. You dare question the justice of the Korvac Empire? Well, the human said, it does seem a bit extreme. We're just explorers who had a navigation accident. We're not representing our government or anything. We're just regular people. The human at the engineering station was still looking at his computer. Captain, their ships have some really impressive energy systems. I'd love to know how they manage power distribution across such large vessels. The female at communications was still recording. The detail work on their ship hulls is beautiful. Each ship has unique decorations. It's like they're not just warships, they're works of art. Zorketh felt his anger growing. These creatures were discussing Korvac warships, like they were examining pottery in a market. Do you not understand that you are about to die? Are we? The human leader asked. Because honestly, this seems like something we could talk through. We're sorry we ended up in your sacred space. We didn't know it was sacred. Can we just leave and promise not to come back? Leave? Zorketh was shocked. You think you can simply leave after committing such a crime? Well, yes, the human said. We didn't mean to come here. We don't want anything from you. We just want to go home. The navigation female spoke up. Captain, maybe we should offer to share our star charts with them. As an apology gift, they might find human exploration data interesting. Good idea. Dion, the leader said. Then he spoke to Zorketh again. Hi, Admiral. Would you like to see our navigation data? Maybe we can share information about our respective territories, so this kind of accident doesn't happen again. Zorketh was completely confused now. Were these creatures offering to trade military intelligence as a casual gesture? You would. Share your navigation data? Sure, the human said. We're explorers. We like sharing information about space. That's how we learn about new places and meet new people. Meet new people? Zorketh repeated. Yes, the communications female said. "This is humanity's first contact with another intelligent species. It's very exciting for us, even though we got off to a confusing start." The engineering human looked up from his computer. "Admiral, are all your ships crewed by your species? Or do you have different alien species working together in your empire?" "Why do you ask?" Zorketh said. "Well, cooperation between different species could lead to amazing technological advances. Different species might think about engineering problems in different ways. The possibilities are endless." Zorketh had to end this conversation. Nothing was making sense. He cut off the communication and called War Commander Vextar. "Vexitar, these creatures are either completely insane or they are playing some kind of psychological game with us." "I agree, sir. But what kind of game? They seem genuinely friendly and curious. They act like they want to be our friends." "No. Species that can reach our sacred territory would be so naive," Zorketh said. "They must be testing us, seeing how we react, studying our defenses." "What should we do, sir?" Zorketh thought for a moment. "We capture them. We bring them to the capital for interrogation. But we must be very careful. If they show no fear of our weapons, they might have defenses we cannot see." "Yes, sir." Zorketh opened another channel to his fleet. "All ships, we will attempt to capture the alien vessel. Use tractor beams and boarding pods. But be ready for anything. These creatures may be more dangerous than they appear." Back on the human ship, Captain Li Wu-jin was talking to his crew. "Well, this is definitely not how I thought first contact would go." Engineer Kim Tae-ho was still studying the alien ships. "Captain, I'm learning so much just from looking at their designs. If we could actually tour one of their ships, think of what we could learn." Navigator Park Da-yoon was working on her computer. "I'm preparing our star charts to share with them. Maybe if we show them we're friendly, they'll be friendly back." Communications Officer Choi Ha-na was still recording everything. "Whatever happens, we're making history. The first humans to meet aliens, and the aliens have the most incredible ships I've ever seen." Outside, the Korvac fleet was preparing to capture them. But the humans had no idea how terrified the Korvacs really were. Empress Velandra was in her private chamber when the emergency message arrived. She was an old Korvac, over 300 years old, and she had ruled the empire for most of that time. Nothing surprised her anymore. But this message made her stop what she was doing and read it 3 times. "Impossible," she said to herself. "No one enters the sacred territory. No one." She called for her personal advisor, an ancient Korvac named Mordun, who knew more about the Empire's history than anyone else alive. He arrived quickly, walking slowly because of his great age. "Your Majesty," Mordun said with a bow. Mordun, read this message from High Admiral Zorketh. "Tell me what you think." Mordun took the message tablet and read it carefully. His old eyes grew wide. "Aliens in the sacred territory, and they show no fear of our warships? That's what troubles me," the Empress said. "Zorketh is not easy to frighten. If he says these creatures are dangerous, they must be very dangerous indeed. What do we know about them?" "Very little. They call themselves humans. They claim to be explorers who got lost. But Mordun, listen to this. When threatened with destruction, they laughed. When shown our finest warships, they called them interesting. When offered death, they asked for directions home." Mordun was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke very slowly. "Your Majesty, in all my studies of ancient texts, I have read legends about such creatures." "Legends?" "The old stories speak of beings who laugh in the face of death, creatures who see beauty where others see terror. The ancient texts call them the Laughing Ones. They are said to appear when great changes come to the galaxy." Empress Velandra felt a chill run through her body. "Are you saying these humans might be the Laughing Ones from the old stories?" "I do not know, Your Majesty, but the behavior described in Zorketh's message matches the ancient legends exactly." Meanwhile, on his flagship, High Admiral Zorketh was having his own problems. His attempt to capture the human ship had failed completely. The humans had something that looked like simple defensive shields, but somehow those shields had stopped his best boarding pods. The pods had simply bounced off the human ship like rocks bouncing off a mountain. "How is this possible?" Zorketh asked his chief engineer, a skilled Korvac named Torvek. I don't understand it, sir, Torvek said. Their shields don't look advanced. Our sensors show they're using basic deflector technology, the kind most species use to protect against space rocks. But somehow, our boarding pods can't get through. Could their shields be stronger than they appear? They would have to be incredibly strong, sir. Our boarding pods can cut through the armor of any known warship, but they can't even scratch these human shields. Zorketh thought about this. Either the humans had defensive technology far beyond anything the Korvac Empire had ever seen, or their simple-looking shields were hiding something much more powerful. He opened a communication channel to the human ship again. The human leader appeared on his screen, looking as calm and friendly as before. "Hi, Admiral," the human said. "Your boarding pods bounced off our ship. Are you trying to dock with us? Because if you want to visit, you could just ask. We'd be happy to talk in person." Zorketh could not believe what he was hearing. "Those were attack pods designed to break through your hull and capture you." "Oh," the human said. "Well, that's not very friendly. Why do you want to capture us? We told you we're just lost explorers. Because you have violated our sacred space. And we've apologized for that. It was an accident. Can't we just agree that it was a misunderstanding and move on?" The human engineer spoke up from his station. "Admiral, your boarding pods have an interesting design, but the energy distribution system seems inefficient. You could probably improve their effectiveness by redesigning the power coupling system." Zorketh stared at the screen. This creature had just analyzed Korvac military technology in a few minutes and was now offering suggestions for improvement. "You can see the design flaws in our boarding pods?" "Well, yes," the engineer said. "It's not hard to spot. The energy signature shows where the power bottlenecks are. Any decent engineer could see it. Any decent engineer of your species? Any decent engineer of any species, I would think. Basic engineering principles don't change much between different technologies." Zorketh ended the communication again. He was more confused than ever. These humans seemed to understand Korvac technology better than the Korvacs did, and they were offering helpful suggestions as if they were friends working together on a project. He called his intelligence officer. "Krivak, I need you to analyze everything we know about these humans. Find out what kind of species we're dealing with." Krivak worked for several hours, studying all the communications and sensor data they had collected. When he was finished, he came to Zorketh with a worried expression. "Sir, these creatures are very strange. Based on their communications, they seem to find everything about our empire fascinating rather than threatening. They talk about our ships like they're works of art. They discuss our technology like they're students wanting to learn. What does that tell us about them? Either they are completely innocent explorers who don't understand the danger they're in, or they are so confident in their own power that our threats mean nothing to them. Which do you think it is?" "Sir, innocent explorers could not reach our sacred territory. The navigation required to get here is too complex, and the defenses are too strong. They had to fight their way through automated defense systems that destroy most ships, but their ship shows no battle damage." "So they got here without fighting the defense systems?" "It appears so, sir. Which means their technology is advanced enough to make our best defenses useless." Zorketh felt a growing fear. If these humans could bypass Korvac defenses so easily, what else could they do? Back on the human ship, Captain Li Wu-jin was talking to his crew about their situation. "So far, these aliens seem more confused than hostile," Wu-jin said. "They keep threatening us, but they haven't actually hurt us." Engineer Kim Tae-ho was still studying the alien ships. "Their technology is impressive, but it's not that much more advanced than ours. I think we could hold our own if we had to." Navigator Park Da-yoon was working on their location data. "Captain, I've been studying the star patterns. I think I know where we are. We're in the center of their empire, near their home star system." "No wonder they're upset," Communications Officer Choi Ha-na said. "Imagine if alien ships suddenly appeared near Earth without warning." "Good point," Wu-jin said. "Maybe we should try harder to convince them we're not a threat." "How do we do that?" Da-eun asked. "Well," Tae-ho said, "we could show them some of our technology. Prove that we're peaceful explorers." "That might work," Ha-na agreed. "If they see that our ship is designed for exploration, not war, they might believe us." Wu-jin thought about this. "Okay, let's try that. Hana, open a channel to their High Admiral." When the communication channel opened, Wu Jin spoke to the alien leader. "Hi, Admiral Zorketh. We would like to show you something that might help. You understand us better. We're going to transmit some data about our ship and our mission." "What kind of data?" Zorketh asked suspiciously. "Technical specifications for our ship, our mission records, and some information about human space exploration. We want to prove that we're peaceful." Zorketh thought about this. Either this was a trap, or the humans really were trying to be friendly. "Very well. Send your data." The humans transmitted information about their ship, showing that it was designed for long-range exploration and colonization. They sent records of their mission, showing that they were looking for new planets where humans could live. They even sent cultural information about humanity's history of exploration and discovery. When Zorketh and his officers studied this data, they became even more confused. If the information was true, these humans really were peaceful explorers. But if they were so peaceful, how had they reached the sacred territory so easily? "Sir," Krivak said, "this data shows that humans have only been exploring space for a few hundred years. According to this, they've never encountered another intelligent species before." "That can't be right," Zorketh said. "No species that young could have the technology to reach our sacred territory." "Unless," Krivak said quietly, "they're much more advanced than they appear to be, or much more dangerous than they want us to believe." Zorketh made a decision. "Send a message to the Empress. Tell her we need instructions. These humans are either the most innocent aliens in the galaxy or the most dangerous, and I can't tell which." Empress Velandra stood in the ancient archive chamber, surrounded by thousands of old books and data crystals. Morden, the oldest scholar in the Empire, was searching through texts that had not been read for centuries. "Here," Morden said, his old voice shaking. "I found the passage about the Laughing Ones." Velandra walked over to where Mordun stood beside an ancient stone tablet. The writing was in the old language, barely readable after so many years. "Read it to me," she commanded. Mordun's voice was careful as he translated the ancient words. "When the great cycles turn and old powers fade, the Laughing Ones will come from the far darkness. They will look upon the mighty with curious eyes and find beauty in tools of war. Death will not frighten them, for they do not understand its meaning. They will speak of friendship to those who threaten them and offer gifts to those who would destroy them. Where they walk, empires will crumble, not from conquest, but from the laughter that shows all fear to be meaningless." Velandra felt her blood grow cold. "That describes these humans exactly. There is more, Your Majesty." Morden continued reading. "The Laughing Ones will not seek to rule, yet rulers will bow before them. They will not make war, yet armies will flee from them. They will not demand tribute, yet treasures will be offered to them. For their laughter carries a truth that all warriors fear, that power built on fear is no power at all. Is there anything about how to defeat them?" Mordun was quiet for a long time as he searched through more texts. Finally, he looked up with sad eyes. "No, Your Majesty. Every legend says the same thing. The Laughing Ones cannot be defeated because they do not fight. They simply exist, and their existence changes everything around them." Meanwhile, on the research ship Korvac's Pride, Chief Researcher Krivak was conducting his own investigation. He had been studying the human communications for hours, trying to understand their psychology. His assistant, a younger Korvac named Zilvar, was helping him analyze the data. "Sir, I've been listening to their internal conversations. They talk about our ships like they're visiting a museum." "Show me," Krivak said. Zilvar played a recording of the humans talking among themselves. The engineer was saying, "Look at the energy patterns on that big ship. The decorative elements aren't just for show. They're actually functional parts of the power distribution system. That's brilliant design." The navigator was responding. "And look how they organize their fleet formations. It's not just military strategy. It's like art. Each ship has a specific place that creates a beautiful pattern." The communications officer added, "I'm recording everything. When we get home, the Earth universities will want to study this for years. We're seeing an entire alien civilization's approach to engineering and design." Krivak stopped the recording. "Zilvar, do you hear what they're saying?" "Yes, sir. They're analyzing our technology and finding it impressive. But listen to how they talk about it. They're not afraid. They're not trying to find weaknesses to exploit. They're genuinely interested in our culture and our achievements. Is that bad, sir? Zilvar, think about it. We have them surrounded with 50 warships. We've threatened to destroy them multiple times. We've tried to capture them, and they respond by complimenting our engineering and asking if they can learn more about us. I see what you mean, sir. That's not normal behavior. It's not normal behavior for any species we've ever encountered. Most aliens either fight back or surrender. When faced with Korvac power, these humans do neither. They just continue being friendly. Krivak opened another recording, this one from when High Admiral Zorketh had threatened to hunt down and destroy the entire human species. The human captain's response had been, "How can you judge all humans based on 4 people who got lost?" Listen to that, Krivak said. He's not denying that we have the power to destroy his species. He's questioning the logic of our threat, as if our ability to carry out our threats isn't the important part. What is the important part, sir? According to these humans, the important part is whether our threats are fair and reasonable. They're judging us based on their moral standards, not our military power. Zilvar thought about this. Sir, what if they really are just peaceful explorers who got lost? Then we have a serious problem, Zilvar. Because if peaceful explorers can reach our sacred territory by accident, what could a real enemy do if they tried? Back on the human ship, the crew was having a similar conversation. Navigator Park Da-Yun had been studying the alien formations and movements. "Captain," she said, "I think these aliens are really scared of us." Captain Li Wu-Jin looked surprised. "Scared? They have 50 ships and we have one. Why would they be scared?" "Look at how they're behaving," Da-Un explained. "They have us completely surrounded, but they're keeping their distance. They could have destroyed us already if they wanted to. Instead, they're treating us like we might be dangerous." Engineer Kim Tae-ho looked up from his studies of the alien ships. "Da-Yun's right, Captain. Their ship formations are defensive, not offensive. They're protecting themselves from us, not preparing to attack us." Communications Officer Choi Ha-na was monitoring alien transmissions. "And their communications show a lot of confusion and debate. They're not sure what to do with us." "But why would they be afraid of us?" Wu-Jin asked. "Maybe," Tae-ho said. "They can't understand how we got here. I've been thinking about it, and our navigation accident brought us through some really dangerous space. We passed through radiation fields and gravity anomalies that should have destroyed our ship, but our shields protected us." "Our standard deflector shields?" "Yes, but Captain, what if our standard technology isn't as standard as we think? What if it's actually much more advanced than most species have?" Da-Yun nodded. "That would explain a lot. If they think our shields are super advanced weapons instead of basic safety equipment, they might think we're much more powerful than we really are." Hana was still listening to alien communications. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions between their ships and someone they call the Empress. They're asking for instructions about what to do with us." "The Empress?" "It sounds like their supreme leader. And Captain, they're not just asking for military orders. They're asking for guidance about how to deal with a completely new type of situation." Wu-Jin thought about all this information. "So we have aliens who are confused about us, scared of us, and asking their leader for help because they've never encountered anything like us before?" "That's what it looks like," his crew agreed. "Well," Wu-Jin said, "maybe we should try to make this easier for them. Hana, send a message to their High Admiral. Tell him we'd like to talk to their Empress directly." "Captain, is that wise?" Da-Un asked. "Think about it," Wu-Jin said. "If their Empress is trying to figure out what to do with us, maybe we can help by explaining our situation directly to her, leader to leader." Tae-ho smiled. "And maybe we can convince her that we really are just lost explorers who want to go home." "It's worth a try," Hana agreed. She opened a communication channel to High Admiral Zorketh. "High Admiral, Captain Lee. Wu-Jin would like to speak directly with your Empress. We think a conversation between leaders might help resolve this misunderstanding." Zorketh appeared on their screen, looking more confused than ever. You want to speak with Empress Velandra? Do you understand that she is the supreme ruler of the Korvac Empire?" "Yes," Wu-Jin said. "And I'm the captain of this ship, and the leader of this mission. If we're going to solve this problem, it makes sense for the leaders to talk to each other directly." Zorketh was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I will relay your request to Her Majesty. After he ended the communication, Zorketh sat in his command chair and shook his head. These humans continued to surprise him. Now they wanted to speak directly with the Empress, as if they were equals. Either they were completely insane, or they were so powerful that they considered themselves equal to the ruler of the galaxy's greatest empire. And Zorketh was beginning to suspect it might be the second option. The emergency session of the Korvac Imperial Council was unlike any meeting in the Empire's history. Representatives from dozens of worlds had gathered in the Great Hall of the capital planet. News of the human invasion had spread throughout the Empire faster than anyone expected. Empress Velandra sat on her throne, looking down at the worried faces of her governors and military commanders. The hall was filled with nervous whispers and fearful glances. Governor Draxel of the Outer Colonies stood up first. "Your Majesty, my worlds are demanding immediate protection. If creatures that laugh at our greatest fleet can appear anywhere, no world is safe." "My people are panicking," added Governor Mex Ori from the industrial sectors. "Factories are shutting down. Workers are afraid to continue production. They say, why build ships and weapons if they cannot protect us from the laughing ones?" Empress Valandra raised her hand for silence. "Governors, we do not yet know what these humans truly are. High Admiral Zorketh has requested permission to bring them here for direct questioning." Admiral Tor Mandis, commander of the Home Defense Fleet, stood up. "Your Majesty, with respect, that may be exactly what they want. What if this entire situation is a trap? What if they want to be brought to our capital world?" "For what purpose?" the Empress asked. "To study our defenses, to see our military capabilities, to learn the location of our most important worlds." Chief Intelligence Officer Vraktoen stepped forward. "Your Majesty, I have disturbing news from our monitoring stations. Word of these humans has already reached other species in our territory. Some of them are excited." "Excited?" "Yes, Your Majesty. The Zalani rebels on the Outer Rim are calling these humans their liberators. The Mokari traders are already trying to establish contact, hoping to form alliances. Several vassal species are questioning whether they still need to pay tribute to an empire that can be invaded by 4 explorers." The hall erupted in worried voices. The Empress raised her hand again, but it took longer for silence to return. "How could word spread so quickly?" she demanded. "The humans, Your Majesty," Vraktoen said. "They are still broadcasting their communications. On open channels, anyone with a receiver can listen to them, and they talk about everything. Their technology, their plans, their observations about our empire." Governor Zek Larn of the military production world spoke up. "What are they saying about us?" "That is the strangest part, Your Majesty. They speak of us with admiration. They compliment our engineering, our ship designs, our organization. They seem genuinely impressed by our civilization. But surely they must reveal some military intelligence?" "No, Your Majesty. They speak only of peaceful topics. Their engineer discusses the artistic beauty of our warships. Their navigator praises the efficiency of our fleet formations. Their communications officer records everything as if she is creating a documentary about meeting a fascinating culture." Admiral Tormandus shook his head. "That makes it worse. If they can analyze our ships and formations so casually, imagine what their military specialists could do with the same information." Back on his flagship, High Admiral Zorketh was having his own crisis. His communications officer, Subcommander Velkris, had just brought him more disturbing news. "Sir, our monitoring posts report that other alien species are moving toward this location. Merchant ships, exploration vessels, even some military scouts. They all want to see the humans who laugh at the Korvac Empire." "How many ships?" "At least 30 so far, sir, and more are coming. The humans have become famous." Zorketh felt a headache building behind his eyes. "Famous?" "Yes, sir. The story is spreading through every trade route and communication network in this sector. The creatures who entered Korvac's sacred space and treated our threats as conversation starters." "What are these other species saying about us?" Velkris looked uncomfortable. "Sir, they are questioning our reputation. Some are saying that if the mighty Korvac Empire cannot handle 4 lost explorers, perhaps we are not as powerful as we claim." Zorketh closed his eyes. In trying to contain the human situation, They had created a much bigger problem. The Empire's reputation for overwhelming strength was being damaged with every hour that passed. "Sir," Velcris continued, "the humans have sent another message. They are asking if they can invite some of the other alien species to join their conversation with the Empress. They say it might be a good opportunity for diplomatic relations between all the species in this area." "They want to what?" "Turn their meeting with the Empress into a diplomatic conference, sir. They seem to think this situation could be the beginning of peaceful relationships between many species." Zorketh stared at his communications officer. The humans wanted to turn their capture and interrogation into a friendly meeting between neighbors. They were treating the most serious military crisis in Korvac history as an opportunity to make new friends. On the human ship, Captain Li Wu-jin was indeed excited about the possibilities. Engineer Kim Tae-ho had detected the approaching alien ships and identified at least 6 different species. "Captain," Tae-ho said, "this is incredible. We're about to meet representatives from multiple alien civilizations. This is the greatest first contact situation in human history." Navigator Park Da-yun was working on communication protocols. "I'm trying to establish contact with the other ships. So far, I've identified 3 species that seem to use similar communication methods to the Korvacs." Communications Officer Choi, Hana, was recording everything. "Captain, this is better than we could have ever imagined. We're not just meeting one alien species, we're meeting an entire community of species. Think of what we can learn. And think of what we can teach them," Wu Jin added. "Human music, art, literature, science, we have so much to share." Hana successfully made contact with one of the approaching ships. A new alien appeared on their screen. This one looked like a tall, thin creature with blue skin and large, bright eyes. "Greetings, humans," the alien said in surprisingly clear English. "I am Trade Captain Zilnara of the Mokari Commercial Fleet. We have heard of your arrival in Korvac space. We are very interested in meeting your species." "Hello, Trade Captain," Wu Jin replied. "We're happy to meet you, too. We're explorers from Earth, and this is our first time meeting alien species." "We know," Zilnara said with what might have been a smile. "Your peaceful response to Korvac threats has become quite famous. Many species are curious about creatures, brave enough to laugh at the Empire's warships." Tae-ho looked confused. "Brave? We weren't being brave. We just thought their ships looked interesting." "That," Zilnara said, "is exactly what makes you so fascinating. You see beauty where others see weapons. You offer friendship where others expect fear." More alien ships continued to arrive. Soon, the area around the human ship was crowded with vessels from a dozen different species. Each one wanted to talk to the humans who had accidentally created the greatest diplomatic gathering in this part of the galaxy. Back on the capital world, Empress Velandra was receiving more reports every hour. The situation was spiraling beyond anyone's control. "Your Majesty," Mordun said, "perhaps the ancient legends were right. Perhaps the Laughing Ones cannot be fought with weapons. Then how do we deal with them? The legends suggest that the only way to survive the coming of the Laughing Ones is to join them, to stop trying to intimidate them and instead try to understand them." Velandra thought about this. The Empire had been built on strength and fear. For 1,000 years, other species had obeyed the Korvacs because they were afraid of Korvac power. But these humans were not afraid, and their lack of fear was inspiring other species to be less afraid as well. "Your Majesty," her communications officer announced, "High Admiral Zorketh reports that the human captain has formally requested a meeting with you. He says he would like to discuss mutual cooperation and friendship between all species in this region." "He wants to discuss friendship?" "Yes, Your Majesty. And he has invited representatives from 12 other species to attend the meeting as observers. He says this could be the beginning of a new age of peaceful cooperation in space." Velandra looked around at her advisors. Every face showed the same mixture of confusion and fear. The humans had turned what should have been a military crisis into a diplomatic opportunity. They had taken control of the situation without using any weapons or making any threats. They had done it simply by being friendly and treating everyone as potential friends. "Your Majesty," Mordun said quietly, "I believe the time of the Laughing Ones has truly begun. The question now is whether we will fight against this change or embrace it. Valandra made her decision. Send word to High Admiral Zorketh. Tell him to bring the humans to the capital world. And tell him to invite the other species as well. If these humans want a diplomatic conference, then that is what they shall have. But even as she gave the order, Valandra wondered if she was about to witness the end of the Korvac Empire as she had known it. The great ceremonial hall of the Korvac capital had never seen anything like this gathering. Representatives from 15 different alien species filled the massive chamber, all there to witness what everyone believed would be a historic moment. What none of them realized was that they were about to witness the most accidental conquest in galactic history. Captain Li Wu-jin walked into the hall wearing his best dress uniform, followed by his crew. Engineer Kim Tae-ho was carrying a small case containing gifts from Earth. Music recordings, art images, and scientific data that humans wanted to share with their new alien friends. Navigator Park Da-yoon had prepared detailed star charts showing human exploration routes, hoping to establish safe travel corridors between species. Communications Officer Choi Hana was recording everything, knowing that this moment would be studied by humans for generations. Empress Valandra sat on her ancient throne, wearing the Crown of Ages, a ceremonial headpiece that had been worn by Korvac rulers for over 1,000 years. She had decided that if this was to be the end of the old empire, it should at least end with proper ceremony. High Admiral Zorketh stood beside the throne, still confused about his role in these proceedings. Was he here to arrest the humans? To negotiate with them? To surrender to them? The Empress had not been clear about her intentions. As the humans approached the throne, Wu Jin looked around the hall with obvious delight. "This is incredible," he said to his crew. "Look at the architecture, look at all these different species. This is like a scene from our best science fiction stories." The hall fell silent as the humans reached the space in front of the throne. Empress Valandra stood up, and every alien in the room bowed low, except the humans, who simply looked at her with friendly interest. "I am Empress Valandra, Supreme Ruler of the Korvac Empire," she announced in the formal tone reserved for the most important occasions. "You have committed an unprecedented violation of our sacred space. You have brought chaos to our ordered galaxy. You have challenged the authority that has maintained peace for 1,000 years. Wu Jin looked surprised. "Your Majesty, we really didn't mean to cause any trouble. We just got lost. But meeting you and all these wonderful species has been amazing. We're very grateful for this opportunity." The Empress continued her formal speech. "For these crimes, the ancient law demands your death. But the strange circumstances of your arrival have convinced us that you represent something new in the galaxy. Something that cannot be dealt with through traditional methods. We represent humanity," Wu Jin said simply. "We are explorers who believe that the galaxy is big enough for everyone to be friends." Valandra reached up and slowly removed the Crown of Ages from her head. The entire hall gasped. No one had ever seen an emperor or empress remove the crown except during the transfer of power to their successor. "The old ways of ruling through fear and strength have failed," she announced. "Your presence has shown us that there are beings in the galaxy who cannot be intimidated or conquered. You have proven that laughter is stronger than threats, curiosity more powerful than weapons." She held out the crown toward Wu Jin. "Therefore, I surrender the authority of the Korvac Empire to you, Captain Li Wu-jin of Earth. May your wisdom guide us toward a better future." Wu Jin stared at the crown, then looked at his crew, then back at the Empress. "Your Majesty, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We don't want to rule your empire. We just want to be friends with everyone." "You refuse the crown?" Valandra asked, sounding confused. "Not refuse exactly," Wu Jin said carefully. "It's very beautiful, and we're honored that you would offer it. But we're not here to conquer anyone. We're here to learn and to share and to make friends." Tae-ho stepped forward. "Your Majesty, maybe Captain Wu Jin could accept the crown as a symbol of friendship between our species? Like a ceremonial gift that represents our new alliance?" Valandra thought about this. The humans were refusing to take power, but they were willing to accept the crown as a symbol of friendship. In a strange way, this made sense. The legends had said that the Laughing Ones would rule without seeking to rule. "Very well," she said. "Captain Wu Jin, I present you with the Crown of Ages as a symbol of the eternal friendship between the Korvac Empire and humanity." Wu Jin carefully accepted the crown, holding it like the precious artifact it was. "Thank you, Your Majesty. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. We'll treasure it always as a reminder of the day we made our first alien friends." The crowd in the hall began to murmur excitedly. The other alien species were watching this exchange with fascination. Trade Captain Zilnara of the Mokari was already making plans to establish trade routes with humanity. Representative Kexville of the Zalani was thinking about how this new friendship might affect their relationship with the Empire. Daun stepped forward with her star charts. "Your Majesty, we'd like to share our navigation data with you and all the species here. Maybe we can work together to map safe travel routes throughout this region of space." "You would share your navigation secrets?" High Admiral Zorketh asked. "Of course," Daun said. "The more we all know about safe travel through space, the easier it will be for everyone to visit each other." Hana activated her recording equipment. "Your Majesty, would it be all right if we documented this ceremony? People on Earth will want to see this historic moment when humanity joined the galactic community." "You wish to create a record of this event?" "Yes, for our libraries and schools. This is the most important day in human history. We want to remember every detail." Velandra nodded her agreement. As she watched Hana work, she began to understand something important about these humans. They really were explorers and learners. They approached everything with curiosity and enthusiasm. They saw her surrender as a ceremony of friendship, her crown as a beautiful gift, her empire as a wonderful new culture to study and appreciate. Teho opened his case and began showing alien engineers the human gifts. "This is music from our world," he said, playing a recording of classical music. "And these are images of Earth's art and architecture. We'd love to learn about your cultures, too." The alien engineers gathered around, fascinated by human creativity. Soon, representatives from multiple species were sharing their own cultural treasures, turning the formal ceremony into an impromptu cultural exchange festival. Wu Jin stood near the throne, still holding the crown, talking with Empress Velandra about the possibilities for cooperation between their species. "We have so much to learn from each other," he was saying. "Human science, Korvac engineering, Mokari trade networks. Imagine what we could accomplish working together." "You speak as if we are equals," Velandra said. "Aren't we?" Wu Jin asked. "Different species with different strengths, but all intelligent beings trying to understand the universe. That makes us equals in the ways that matter." Later that day, as the ceremony concluded and the various species began planning for ongoing diplomatic relations, High Admiral Zorketh approached Captain Wu Jin. "Captain, I must ask you something that has been troubling me. How did you really reach our sacred territory? Our defenses should have stopped any ship." Wu Jin looked embarrassed. "Honestly, Admiral, I think our shields protected us from things that were supposed to be defenses. Our computer thought they were natural hazards like radiation fields and gravity wells. Our systems automatically navigated around or through them. Your shields treated our most advanced defense systems as natural hazards. It looks that way. I'm sorry if that caused problems." Zorketh started laughing. It began as a small chuckle, then grew into full, hearty laughter that echoed through the hall. Soon, other Korvacs were laughing too, and then aliens from other species joined in. "What's so funny?" Wu Jin asked. "Captain," Zorketh said between laughs, "your people accidentally conquered an empire because your shields are too good and your navigation computer is too smart. You became the most feared species in the galaxy by getting lost and being friendly." Wu Jin started laughing too. "When you put it that way, it does sound pretty ridiculous." As news of the ceremony spread throughout the galaxy, the story became legend. Humanity had achieved something no other species had ever managed. They had ended a conflict by refusing to fight, gained respect by showing curiosity instead of fear, and won an empire by offering friendship instead of demanding submission. Back on Earth, when the Soul's Pride eventually returned home, the crew tried to explain what had happened. Captain Li Wu Jin stood before the Earth government, still holding the Crown of Ages, trying to describe how they had accidentally become rulers of a galactic empire. "So let me understand this," the Earth president said. You got lost. Met. Some aliens, they tried to threaten you. You laughed at their threats and they gave you their empire. That's basically correct, Wu Jin said, though they prefer to think of it as a friendship alliance with symbolic leadership. And now we're responsible for governing how many alien worlds? About 3,000 according to Empress Velandra. But she's still handling the day-to-day administration. We're more like honorary friends who get consulted on important decisions, Engineer Kim Tae-ho added. And they want to share all their technology with us, and they want us to teach them about human culture, and several species want